UFC commentator Joe Rogan admits that while he feels Mike Tyson could still have the ability to KO Jake Paul, however, he wishes the fight wasn't booked.
What do you think of Tyson and Jake?
I wish he didn't do it. I wish it wasn't a thing. I wish it wasn't a thing where a 58-year-old guy was going to fight a 28-year-old.
During a recent episode of the JRE MMA podcast, Joe Rogan was speaking to UFC welterweight champion Belal Muhammad. Rogan made it clear that Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson wasn't the fight he was hoping to see. Rogan stated, "I wish he didn't do it. I wish it wasn't a thing. I wish it wasn't a thing where a 58-year-old guy was going to fight a 28-year-old. That said, I fully support his desire to do it. What is he going to live forever? No, he's not going to live forever, and maybe he wants one more shot at it. Maybe his body can do one more fight." Tyson hasn't competed in a boxing match since his late 2020 exhibition with fellow International Boxing Hall of Famer Roy Jones Jr. While an official winner wasn't determined, the general consensus is that Tyson outworked Jones and even looked to be the fresher boxer despite being older. Although Rogan acknowledged that the legendary boxing champion can still wow spectators around the globe with his skills with the training mitts, it is by no means equivalent to a whole training session.
I don't know. He looks great on the mitts, but that doesn't mean that you know as much as I know.
Yeah.
I can look good on the mitts.
Yeah. I tell people that, like, bro, mitts doesn't show anything. Yeah.
Especially if you watch in 30-second clips. What you want to see is him sparring. You want to see him hitting the bag for multiple rounds. You'd want to see, like, let's see 3 rounds hard on the bag. I'm gonna see what you could do. I want to see how your feet move. I want to see what it looks like if you're off balance when you're throwing combinations. Do you look like Tyson?
The welterweight champion and seasoned pundit expressed their concerns about Tyson's health, but they both said they will be ready to see the drama play out on November 15th. Joe stated, "How much does he want to do it? Is he doing it for money? How much does he have left in the tank? Those are all questions that'll make me buy the PPV. I'm going to feel bad if he gets knocked out. Conventional wisdom would say that this is a terrible fight. Conventional wisdom would say there's a 28-year-old with knockout power, real fast, young, athletic, and bold as shit. Not just this, WWE legend Hulk Hogan is also concerned about Mike Tyson and hopes Jake Paul does not murder the heavyweight icon when they face off later this year."
And he has a left hand now that looks like it's firing off. He's
I love Mike to death. I don't want to kill Mike. Jesus.
Tyson.
Yeah.
Bro, we have to talk about this.
Is this the podcast?
Yeah, is this the...
Hogan was in attendance as Paul knocked out Mike Perry in July and has spent a lot of time around Tyson over the years. Speaking with Jake's brother Logan Paul on his podcast Impulsive, he noted his fears around the fight. Hogan said, "Your brother is too strong, bro. Last night at the Mike Perry fight, as soon as I saw him set the guy up with the left to throw the overhand right, I went, oh my god. I mean, really, it was scary. I love Mike to death. I don't want him to kill Mike, Jesus." However, Hogan's fears are not shared by everyone in the world of combat sports. The lineal UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou was trained in part by Tyson for his boxing debut against Tyson Fury last year, and says there are still moments of incredible speed despite his advanced age. He said, "I think Tyson will still beat his ass up. He's definitely not as he was when he was young, but when he moves around you and shows you something, you're like, what the hell is this?" That's something that people don't understand about Mike Tyson. He moves from your left to your right in the blink of an eye. But Eddie Hearn is of the opinion that if Jake Paul were to defeat Mike Tyson, it would be a travesty for boxing in the eyes of all true fans. He said, "I don't think there's one boxing person that really wants this fight to happen, so they're looking at it from a different angle. They're looking at it from numbers. They're looking to it for hype, and I get it. I understand that this freak show may well do good numbers, but I think if you genuinely care about the sport and the history of the sport, and particularly the legacy of one of the greatest fighters of all time, it's not something you'd ever consider. But I understand their strategy and the business, and if it does numbers, they don't really care how it looks in terms of the empathy of it. I don't think it's ever something you'd see a real boxing person get involved with." Tyson retired from boxing in 2005 after suffering 2 devastating defeats and dealing with long-term difficulties beyond the ring. However, by 2020, he had made a comeback and returned to fight Roy Jones Jr. in an exhibition battle that was just a glorified sparring session. That will not be the case this time, according to reports, as he prepares to face Paul in a professionally approved session. Both will be drug tested, but Tyson's brain and heart will require further testing due to his age. Paul has a 10-1 record, with his only loss coming in 2023 to Tommy Fury, Tyson's 25-year-old brother. He also wants to disrespect Tyson's devotion and love, as Hearn and every other fan admires. Hearn further added, "It's just a different world, isn't it? This new generation. But good luck to him. I'm sure it will do good numbers, and hopefully Mike Tyson doesn't get hurt because it would be a travesty for boxing." Oscar De La Hoya is worried for Tyson's well-being. Oscar believes that Tyson has a puncher's chance to win the fight, that too in the first 3 rounds. Other than that, Oscar Oscar didn't seem impressed by what Jake Paul has been doing in choosing his opponents.
Crawford versus Canelo, there are a lot of rumors that that fight might happen.
You know, at the end of the day, they're two great pound-for-pound fighters, and if they feel like, you know, it makes sense and they want to fight each other, stylistically, it's a great fight. But, you know, Canelo, he's a big dude, and I think it'd be hard for anyone to beat him at 168. But, you know, it's definitely a big money fight, and that's why we're all in boxing, you know, to make the biggest fights and try to be great.
You know, since you've been gone, there have been a lot of exhibition fights. What do you make of stuff like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson?
Willie Hutchinson believes he can win given Paul's limited skills, but still shows his distaste for this fight. He said, "Wow, that is still happening. It's terrible, isn't it? The man is 60 years old. I still think he can beat and knock out Jake Paul even at the age of 60. He isn't worth anything. I think it's a shame though, really. It is letting boxing down, and it is making it a bit of a mockery. I mean, what good is that doing or gaining for boxing? But everyone will buy in and watch it. It's Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul. They are big names. It's a shame. I don't care how much money you are getting. I wouldn't jeopardize what I've done if I was Mike Tyson just to say I am fighting Jake Paul." Gareth Davies was also very concerned upon hearing the news of this fight turning into a proper sanctioned boxing match. He said that he doesn't want to see a boxing legend like Mike Tyson lose to a YouTuber like Jake Paul.
I am very concerned about the news this week that this is a sanctioned boxing bout that will count on the record. I do not want to read on boxrec.com or on Wikipedia that Mike Tyson in 2024 lost to Jake Paul, an influencer and a YouTuber, in a veritable boxing match. It's just not right, and I think we should be concerned about his health, and I think we should be concerned how one of the greatest living icons of our sport, Spencer Oliver, is forced to fight.
As a fighter who fought Mike twice and won both times, Evander Holyfield has a very interesting prediction for the Paul versus Tyson fight. Here's what he recently told the media. "I don't know how much confidence that Jake Paul has and all of that, but he's going to be a lot quicker. If he stays close to Mike, then his chance of winning is going to be great, but if he tries to stay back from Mike, he's going to get caught. The point about it is, does Jake Paul take a good shot? I never seen him get hit by nobody. That's it. It may be over because he ain't probably never fought nobody that punch like Mike. You never know. Just like Mike quit in the ring. He got tired and just quit and just sat down. I'm done." However, Roy Jones Jr. has a vicious warning for Jake Paul ahead of his fight with Iron Mike Tyson and says that the problem child should call off the fight before getting hurt by the heavyweight legend.
I think it's a great opportunity for both fighters, but I still think Mike probably is going to be a little too much for Jake.
Roy Jones was the last opponent Mike Tyson faced in an exhibition match back in 2020. Roy Jones has experienced the viscous power of the heavyweight legend, and because of that, he believes that despite Mike being 58 years old now, he'd be simply too much for the younger Jake Paul. Roy Jones stated, "It'd be a great fight, but I still believe Mike Tyson would be too much for Jake Paul." However, Roy Jones believes that if the fight goes on and Jake gets past the first 3 rounds, he could have a chance to beat Mike Tyson. Roy further added, "If he gets to the latter round, then yes, round 4 or 5, maybe he has a chance, but he has to get Mike out of the first 3 rounds." Roy Jones still remembers how powerful Tyson is in his later years. In another interview with Shane Mosley, Jones was asked about the fight right away and said that Tyson was the hardest hitter he had ever encountered.
Mike takes it serious like he took it with me, then he going to take, I don't see Jake beating him because he's very hard to hit still when he's in shape. And he's still a very hard puncher when he's in shape.
Jones further elaborated on how hard Tyson hit him when they both fought. He stated, "Mike Tyson is still the strongest puncher that I've ever been in the ring with, ever. Now I think he's 57, maybe 58, yet he's still the strongest puncher. The first time he hit me on my chin, I felt like a mule had kicked me in my chest." So what do you think about this fight? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.